Coach, that they look more like the team that you've coached all year. What you like about how they played tonight?
Well, Pastor Trav in chapel today was talking about focus, and that was something we were, had in abundance tonight. We had a great deal of focus on the game plan, personnel, and rebounding was something that, even if we didn't come up with the board, I thought we had 3-4 guys in the paint scrapping for the rebound. But the defense tonight is, that's the backbone of our program. It's one of our pillars, being able to defend. And the one vein that was at a really high level tonight was just being able to guard the ball in one-on-one situations. I thought early in the game we forced them into some late clock situations that helped us. And there were a number of guys that were able to stay in front of the ball tonight. And then we did, Bertans came in and hit a few threes. But outside of that, I thought we had really good awareness to steal out to their shooters and get a hand up. And we were pretty good in contest and stay. Sometimes when you're a big guy and you're contesting a smaller guy, you have a tendency to contest and take off. I thought we did a much better job of coming back to secure the rebound. So it was the defense tonight. When we get stops like that and are able to get out and transition, it gets us going, gets our crowd going. And I firmly believe that defense travels. It's the one thing that you can do in any gym.
The second thing I had was you made a couple of different moves. Biombo coming in for Deandre in the first quarter, and then Shamet playing instead of Payne. What led you to making those two?
Well, I mean, it's just a decision. You don't know how it's going to work out, but when we looked at some of the matchups and the energy that Biz brings to the game, it was a hard decision. I tried to play all three, but I just felt like we felt like Biz's energy would allow for us to, make energy plays. I mean, he didn't wow you with scoring and that kind of thing, but his attention to detail, his ability to play in multiple efforts on defense, and then he can finish around the basket. And he's tough. That doesn't mean JaVale can't do it. We just went with Biz tonight because we knew he was going to bring that kind of energy, and he's matched up well against those guys. And then Landry has, in his minutes, he's shown that he can guard and stay in front of the ball a lot better than most people think. So that helped him, and then he can space the floor, and then his ability to handle the ball and initiate with Book allows for him to be on the floor with Book.
Last thing I had was for the game to end the way it did with Biombo and Chris, and then Chris chasing in the tunnel. I mean, how do you even view all that?
I mean, we're trying to win the game. I get the competitiveness of the game, but we're just trying to win the game. All that stuff that happens that's extracurricular is, I don't have anything to say about that. I understand how chippy it can be. We just want to win the game, and that's it. We're trying to get one more win, and that's our focus right now.
Monty, at the first time out of the first quarter, when some of the same problems were persisting, it looked like you got pretty animated in the huddle. What were you telling the guys in that moment?
The energy just wasn't where it needed to be for this type of game. It wasn't poor, but it wasn't great. And we still were, at that point, we had given up 4 threes in a short period of time. And that was, the game plan is to, try your best to take away the three ball or force a tough one. And I thought to start the game, just didn't have the kind of energy and focus and force that we had after that point. And it wasn't just me. The guys knew it. They understood that, we can't just play at a comfortable level. You almost have to play to exhaustion to make sure that you're, defending the way that we need to against a team like this. And then after that point, I mean, you can look at the quarter points. I mean, the defense was at a high level.
It felt like Book was able to keep you guys in a manageable spot until everything kind of got going in the third quarter.
Yeah.
What did you see from him just kind of keeping you guys
He's
up?
just getting to his spots. I mean, there were a few times in pick and roll where he would, get to a spot and raise up. Book has shot-making ability that's unique to very few people. And in those moments, when we need him to settle us down, sometimes it's scoring that can settle you down. It allows for you to set your defense, and you're not turning the ball over. When you have a guy that can go get a shot like that.
What did you see from Mikal in terms of the way he made Doncic feel him tonight?
I mean, I'd have to look at the film, but just from the eye test and what I felt in the game, I thought he, did a really good job of pressuring a bit more tonight. We were much more physical against him. He's got a high release, and he can make tough shots because of that release, and he's longer than you think. But I thought Mikal and Jay, Chris, with his ability to take charges, they were a bit more physical with him tonight. And you have to do that to the legal limit, especially in the playoffs. And then just, force him to shoot a tough two as best you can. But trying to keep him in front is a tall task for any team.
Coach, with Jay Crowder over here, was that a shoulder shot for him, or?
He got hit. I'm not quite sure. I think he's fine, though. I saw him in the back, but I don't have anything official on him right now.
And then with Mikal and DA, the way that they were able to get going tonight, was that a product of, like you were talking about, getting stops and getting out in transition, or was the ball moving a little bit better?
I mean, the ball movement was there. Our ability to get to the paint was there tonight. But again, it's the stops. I mean, when we can get stops and not have to call plays, that first pick and roll with DA has been pretty effective for us all year. I thought he did a really good job of playing in the paint, taking advantage of the switches against smaller guys. Like, that helped us. And then Mikal's just, thought his shot making to start the game helped us. It settled us down. He had a couple corner threes, I think, that gave us a bit of energy.
Monty, stats don't always tell the full story, but after allowing 23s in Game 4, they go 8 for 32. And then also all the talk about defense in that third quarter, you guys forced 12 turnovers, and 7 of them came on steals.
Yeah, I mean, the length of our team and the aggression, I think, one, you have to pressure the ball. Sometimes just pressuring the ball takes away a guy's vision, and it allows for guys to get steals away from the ball. But that was one of those, third quarter heightened awareness, come out of halftime with some juice, don't ease into it. And I thought we came out of the halftime with a great level of defensive focus. We showed some film at halftime, and the things that we talked about this morning at shoot-around, they were executed, and we showed them at halftime, and then they came out and raised the level even more. And sometimes, when you raise your level like that with ball pressure and physicality, you tend to get your hands on ball sometimes, but we came up with them. We've been doing that in the last few games, but we haven't come up with the ball. They've been first to the ball. I thought we were the winners of that category tonight.
The Mavericks only had 9 assists for the whole game, and even when they had the lead 38-30, they still didn't have many assists to each shot. Looked like your whole defense was about staying out on those shooters and not giving them the
trying to do a better job of that. But I mean, when a guy's in a one-on-one situation, I mean, it's a magnet at times, not just with your body but with your eyes. Sometimes you just sit there and stare at that guy, and then when you're playing against Luka, like, if you stare, he can pick you apart. I thought we had much better focus to be able to hold our shift position, but trust the guy that's guarding the ball, and then move towards the shooters as best we could. It became somewhat of a one-on-one challenge at the end of shot clocks, and that's a thing that we always talk about with this team. They can play late in the shot clock because they have 2 guys that can go get a bucket. And we just did a much better job, like, guarding the ball, but also staying close to the shooters.
Given DA's foul trouble early, how important in that third quarter were his 2 offensive rebounds, putbacks, not only to him, but to what you eventually accomplished in that quarter?
Well, I mean, I think his ability to, dominate that part of the game is huge for us. He has a knack for the ball, whether it's tips to himself or tips to somebody else. But the mindset to be aggressive, even though you have a couple of fouls, like we don't want that to take away from his ability to do what he does really well, which is rebound the ball. So I got him out a bit earlier than I wanted to with 2, but after what happened with Chris last game, I didn't want to chance it with any of our guys. And I thought the guys who came in responded well. Biz came in for DA, and then Cam came in for Jay when he had foul trouble. So it's a tough decision, but I thought DA was still focused on being aggressive, even though he had a couple of fouls.
Monty, on the topic of Ayton, you knew the short roll pass was going to continue to be there. It's been there all series. What was different about the way he was able to execute in those situations, continue to move the ball, et cetera?
Sometimes it's different. They throw a bunch of different looks. If they're blitzing, then the short roll can be closer to the guy getting blitzed. But sometimes they go to a drop coverage, and so DA was at the rim a few times, and he has opportunities to dunk the ball. So I think it's something that we work on, but the players just make plays. He was in short rolls some, but then there were times where he was at the rim. I thought our guards did a good job of putting the ball where he could score around the basket. And I thought the best play he made out of that environment was where he came to a jump stop and didn't just throw it to the corner. I think he hit somebody on the right wing. That takes a lot of reps to remember to do that.
Why the wild swings in this series? I mean, it was a pretty even game in the first half. Then they come out in the second half. You hold them to 4 points in the first 6 minutes, 14 points in the quarter. It seemed like everything that they were doing in the first half they couldn't manage. Doncic had 3 points or something in the third quarter. It's been pretty typical of this series.
I mean, you're giving me a lot of credit. I wish I had an answer for that. I don't. I think it's just playoff basketball. You're going to have swings like that, and we always talk about just having the mental stamina to deal with whatever it is. I don't have a great answer for that. I just think it's part of playoff basketball.
Just wanted to first ask both of you guys just on Monty being NBA Coach of the Year. We hadn't had a chance to ask you guys that, so just your thoughts, both of you guys' thoughts on that.
I mean, you know where we stand. We were preaching about it since last year. We feel it should have been a back-to-back, but we're past that, and we're really excited for him and his family, and for him to take in that moment with his family was important for us to see. I know very important to him. He has kids that are getting older, that are off to college and living in different states. So for everybody there to be supportive of him, it was a great thing to see.
Yeah, along with what Book said, for me to start his first year being a head coach, being with him then and being with him now, to see how much we didn't got a chance to grow, apart from each other now, grow together. I can't be happier for him and his family.
Second thing I had was just you guys started that second half. I think it was a 19-4 run. Just what was clicking or working. Obviously, you guys got steals on one end, but just overall, what do you feel like was the difference in that early start to the third?
Just defense, defending at a high level, making it tough on them, keeping them out of our paint, and then just getting on transition and playing, the basketball that we play.
Chris, looking at the end of the game, the way with Biombo and Marquise, and then Marquise going in the tunnel, just how did the team respond to all of that? At the end of a game that you guys were very dominant in?
I don't know. I was sitting on the bench. So it's playoff basketball. Happens, you move on, we get ready for Game 6.
Chris, with all due respect, I would be remiss not to ask how these last 48 hours have been for you, considering the way Game 4 ended with your family and moving on from that.
Appreciate it. They're good. My family all good, so appreciate it.
Chris, I wanted to ask you about the shirt you're wearing and just the thoughts you have about the status of Brittany Griner right now.
Yeah, I think us along with, this ain't even just the NBA, WNBA thing. I think everybody wants her home. You know what I mean? She is a huge part of the community here. I mean, we all supporter just want to try to get her home as soon as possible. You know what I mean? So it was all in support of BG. We miss seeing her at the practice facility day in and day out. So just trying to get her home.
Look, what did you think of the play of Landry with you alongside you?
Super aggressive and super confident, and that's exactly what we need out of him. And taking pressure off Chris and I with bringing the ball up and getting us in actions and getting us in sets. So, I think it was a big game for him, and it was good for us to see that.
Chris, how did you see Mikal really accept the challenge on Doncic tonight, making it as tough as possible?
Kel, he does it all year. You know what I mean? I think tonight was no exception. Kel guards in most of the game, but they usually set screens to get Kel off of him. You know what I mean? So Kel was amazing, but tonight it was a team effort. Cam Johnson, all the guys that, our bigs did a great job of just making it tough on them. It's always going to be hard to shut a guy out. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but guys did a great job tonight.
Look, with the three-point defense, it felt like in that third quarter you guys just took it to a completely different level. What were you seeing as far as not only your guys' ability to defend one-on-one, but kind of put a little more pressure on the ball as well?
Yeah, I mean, like Chris said, tough matchups, especially with Luka getting in the paint, and you think he's going to shoot it, and he sprays it out for a three. It's kind of different than what you're used to or what we play against normally. So, we have to make adjustments, and that's what we did. But just make it tough on them, limit the other guys. We understand he's going to score the ball some, but once all the other guys get going, especially if there's 3 or 4 of them, it's tough for us.
Chris, Biombo was out on the perimeter a couple of times and was able to stick with the shooters and the ball handlers. What did you see from his performance tonight?
Busy is just a great player. You know what I mean? He's been in this league for a while, so he's seen a lot of different things. And at a certain point, it just comes down to grit. You know what I mean? And just want to. And Busy, JaVale, DA, all those guys, they did a great job. I think we're fortunate to have 3 different centers like that you can rotate and trust them all at any given time.
I got one for each of you guys. Devin, just the run you all went on in the third and all the talk coming out of your guys' camp leading into Game 5 was it's offense will be all right, but defensively we got to make our mark. You forced 12 turnovers as a team, 7 of them coming from steals. Could you feel the intensity ramp up, and what was the key to put that performance off?
I mean, we study film. I mean, coaches come in with the adjustments, and we make them and we follow it. I mean, we pride ourselves on the defense end all year. I think that's when we're at our best, when we're not taking the ball out the hoop and having to play a slower paced game. We like getting stops, getting out in transition because, we have a lot of athletes, a lot of people that can make plays for each other. So, it's kind of everybody make a play for each other type of offense and, best available shot.
And Chris, just one more looking back to Game 4. What do you think of the resolution that the Mavericks organization had in terms of kicking the fans out and having basically what amounts to a 7-month ban?
I don't know about all that. I know Nico reached out, so did Mark. So like I said, my family's all good and well. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
For both of you guys, that third quarter I think also had 18 points off turnovers. When you're able to get out in transition like that, what does it do for kind of the energy?
I'm sorry, I wasn't even listening. What'd you say?
When you're able to get out in transition like you guys were, especially in the third, what does that do for just the energy?
I think it does a lot for us because in order to get out in transition, that means that we got stops on the defensive end. And at Game 3 and 4, I think it really bothered us a lot because we sort of hung our hat all season long on the defensive end, and it's just deflating when you aren't making teams miss, you sort of hoping they miss. And so we just wanted to try to be better on the defensive end tonight and let everything else take care of itself.
Look, how did it feel to get that reporting scoop yesterday?
Oh, it felt good, man. I told Coach walking out, I was like, I'm breaking it. And he's like, go ahead, young buck.
Sources.
Yep, sources. So y'all better watch out. Shit, better ask Woj.
You can't do what you do. You can do what we do, though.
I can see you out there, Kellen.
You revealed your source, though.
Huh?
You revealed your source. Most people don't do that.
I know. I got
So, Chris, I just had.
Devin, kind of a random stat, but you're one of 18 NBA players ever to have at least 800 career points in his first 30 playoff games. I know you got a late start, obviously, in your career in the postseason, but obviously you're kind of a veteran now.
Why are you going to bring that up?
Why was it funny?
No, because why are you bringing that up?
Why was it funny?
Do you feel like an old vet in the playoffs now? Like, how have you changed over those 30 games?
I mean, this is just what I've been preparing for. Even those seasons that we didn't make it, like I sat there and, I took that anger to the gym and just imagined myself and just being in those situations. And, imagination is a big part of this. So I had to use some imagination on playing in playoff games in my workout. So I guess it's working out a little bit, but we got some room to go.
Chris, I just wanted to ask, you had talked about earlier in your career when you was having to guard, both really guard guys on that perimeter. Now having Luka and Brunson, what's that been like for you? Two different body types, two different styles, and having to guard both guys.
It's fun, man. I probably one of the few guys in the league who like defense. You know what I mean? It's always challenging. You know what I mean? I always say, to go into a game and just know you're going to shoot 35 shots a night, you know what I mean? I've always had a lot of respect for guys who play both ends, the guys who defend and do things that don't show up on the stat sheet. So it's always fun to try to compete and learn how to try to figure out and slow guys down.
Back to game one for you. How close do you think you got to that tonight?
Yeah, I think I got to that tonight. It felt good. My guys was looking for me down there. Even when I had minor little tweaks around the rim, they kept telling me, like, yo, DA, that's what we want. Keep doing it. Keep putting pressure on these boys. And, yeah, it felt good and, made me want to play a lot more defense on the other end as well.
Curious just your thoughts on Biyombo and the impact he had in the game tonight.
Man, that's the busy effect. It's really contagious on how that man, can slide his feet in, just bring that energy and give a guard in a pick and roll a different look. Because typical bigs were always in the drop and we're calling out a coverage where we're not up so high. And, just seeing him how he changed the game up, being up so high and sliding his feet without fouling is, yeah, me and JaVale sometimes look at each other on the bench like, I can do that too, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's just good seeing that, and, we have something else at the center position to do that. So it's real fun to see that.
You guys started the third on a 19-4 run. I think you and Devin scored a combined 17. What was working in that third quarter for you guys?
Defense. That's what got us going. We was running when we got stops, closing out possessions, and today I felt like we was on the offensive board a lot. Our guards was getting in there, getting some top outs. Busy got his hands on a few, and all that stuff just generates so much energy and momentum plays, man. I think it was one time we had 3 threes in a row, but we missed them all. But we were just so happy because of the second effort we was getting and the good looks that we were getting as well. And once the crowd get into it, gotta pray.
Dave, that first time out in the first quarter, what do you remember Monty emphasizing to the group?
Say it again?
The first time out of the first quarter, it looked like Monty got really animated in the huddle. What do you remember him sort of emphasizing there?
Man, there was so many stuff said. Man, Monty's main point was just us playing Suns basketball the whole night. Emphasizing the defense and, making sure I didn't get any more fouls in the first half. Just us closing up possessions and running our stuff. We don't always have to come down and run the play. I could just, that was the only thing I could remember him emphasizing throughout the whole night.
Did you feel like the effort sort of just helped you guys get those gears spinning?
Yeah,
again?
So it was really, it made his life easy on not running any plays because we were getting stops and we were out running. The floor was open and, you let C and Book do their thing on the open floor, just let everything go in motion.
With your guys' three-point defense, especially in the second half, it felt like you guys were not just staying with the ball, but putting pressure out on the perimeter. Did you kind of see that as well?
Yeah, that was our main point. Like I say, they'll live and die by the three. They have great shooters over there, and you just got to have a certain sense of urgency when you're closing out to them because they can put the ball on the floor as well and have you in the blender closing out and being late on passes. So tonight, I think the communication was really there tonight. Having your brothers back, not having everybody on the ISO on the island. But at the end of the day, we accepted the challenge, man. We accepted the one-on-one guarding and, standing in front of the ball. And I seen that, hats off to Cam Johnson really doing his thing on, just guarding the right way to the legal limit.
Deandre, what gives you guys as a team the confidence in a game like this? 2-2, back home. It's obviously a big moment in the series. What gives you the confidence to come out and play the way you did tonight?
Hey, man, it's intense. A lot of barking out there. It comes with the game, when you're barking and guys going at each other and it's the highest level ever. I get your blood flowing, and we at home. We know the type of defeat we had in Dallas, and we weren't happy. That wasn't a fun plane ride coming back, and practice was intense as well. Coaches got on us a little bit, and here go our response. That's all I can really tell you.
They only got 9 assists the whole game, and even when you guys were down in that first half, they were barely getting assists because it was a lot of one-on-one play. You guys, your defense, I guess, was focused on not allowing those kick-out threes.
Yeah, we just accepted the challenge. I'm standing in front of the ball. Tried not to foul. They're gonna make some tough ones. We just didn't let that affect us. When they were getting, when they were doing their moves down low in the post, we just didn't let it affect us at all. But we tried to, just give them a different look every time down, and it exhausted eventually. And you got 4 quarters of doing that, and yeah, that's what you get.
You guys have had a few Game 6s now in your 2 years in the playoffs, and those have all been on the road. What are you going to take into this Game 6 to erase what happened in Games 3 and 4?
We just got to come in here level-headed. We just can't walk in thinking we won the game already. These dudes are going to be desperate, and the crowd is going to be in it, but we're going to have to play together like how we did tonight and bring everything from tonight over to Dallas.